What's up, y'all? This is Travis. Welcome to Project Wifey build log number 2. Really quick, I wanted to give a shout out to all my sponsors. Corsair for providing the case, the RAM, and the power supply. EVGA for supplying the graphics card. PlayAsia.com for providing the CPU. Ice Mods for providing the cables and the LED lights. And Titan Rig for supplying the pump and reservoir combo. Links to all my sponsors can be found in the description below. So in today's build log, we're going to install all the components into the computer. We're going to basically measure out the custom sleeved cables, and we're going to talk about the mods that I'm going to do to the case, as well as some of the paint. And then after all that's done, probably do this off camera later, but I'm just going to go ahead and test all the components and make sure everything does work, because the last thing you want is to do a water cooled build and then find out something doesn't work, like the CPU. That would be a nightmare. So first thing I'm going to do is install the motherboard. Next, I'm going to stick in the power supply and measure the custom sleeved cables. And the reason why you want to make sure that you use cables to measure for cables is because when you plug in a connector, there's about usually like an inch to 2 inches, depending on the type of cable that you're using, that you can't count for, because that takes up like the whole 90-degree bend. You know, you can't, a cable doesn't bend at 90 degrees. A lot of times, like the GPU cables, it has to come out and come around. So by using the cables that are included, allows you to kind of get a more accurate reading than just using string, because you can easily order something that's too short. So all I use for this is a marker. Basically, I just mark where I want the sleeving to end. I take the cable out, put it up against a tape measure, and measure that length. After I do my measurements, then I go on my computer and convert inches to centimeters, because Ice Mods only deals in centimeters. So if they don't have your exact cable in stock, I always suggest rounding up. Even if it's like really, really close, last thing is you want to get a cable that's too short, because then a cable that's too short is completely useless, versus a cable that's a few centimeters too long is still useful, and all you have to do is find where you want to put the slack. It's really not that big of a deal. But getting a cable too short is absolutely no good. Next, I'm going to try to install the reservoir bay, and I'm glad that I tried this before I painted anything, because last thing you want to do is case mod after you paint. You always want to do your case mods first and then paint second. That way, if you need to cover anything up, you can, and you don't have to worry about scratching your paint, versus if you do the case mods afterwards, then if you scratch the paint that you just painted, then you're like either forced to live with it, try to touch it up, or just sand everything down and repaint it. So yeah, I'm really glad I did this, because I found out that the bay reservoir pump combo is actually hitting the inside of the case. So basically, I just have to go down and file those down just a little bit. Last thing I want to talk to you guys about are the case mods for the computer case, and really what I'm thinking and planning on doing for this computer case. So I definitely want to cut a window out in the front so you can see the bay reservoir. Now, I've been going back and forth with this because the door does swing open. So technically you could just open and look at it. You don't have to look at it all the time. However, I think it'd be kind of cool just to put a window there. What's nice about it is that I can take that piece off and cut it totally separate from the rest of the computer case, and I don't have to take off like the whole front panel. Really like that. So probably going to do that. Next, I might cut a window out on the back side where the 3 SSD mounts are, and I might install 3 SSDs. Looking into that now, not 100% sure, but I think that that would be really cool. And if I do that, I'm thinking about putting all the logos from all my sponsors on the SSDs, and then that way you can always see that from that side of the case and maybe light that side up. Next, like we talked about earlier, I have to do the filing for the bay reservoir. And one of the last things that I'm thinking about doing, I'm not 100% sure, is somehow incorporate a rose into the build, because a rose actually means a lot to my wife, and I think that that would be kind of a cool thing to incorporate. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. If you guys have any ideas, please leave a comment down below. And that's it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and start knocking out some of the case mods, and hopefully I will have that done in the next video, and we will start going over the water cooling parts, as I'm still waiting for some of them to be shipped. So anyways, till next time, peace.